Bubba, I'm gonna sit right there so you can sit next to me, okay? With me. Do you want the blanket? Yes. Okay. Hey, you're fine. I wanted to get a dog that when I'm gone would scare the daylights out of people if they showed up here when Jordan's here, which is true. But then Jordan wants to tame him and have him be like a princess.
I do not. I don't want him when people
Yeah, you do.
come.
He chases turtles and she gets pissed, and I'm like, he's a killer dog. Like, what do you expect? No, I'm just saying. I'm saying it because I want him to protect you guys. Like, I don't want him to be like this pansy dog.
Turtles don't do anything to you.
I know, but somebody can come to the house and he's gonna protect you. But if Jordan trains him to be Miss Fancy Pants, then
Okay, we talked about this. I don't want him to be a prima donna when there are random people coming up to our door.
Well, yeah,
but it's like we have people already in our home and this is our space, and he walks up to him and he's like, "Roar." Like, I don't want that.
the first thing I have to do this morning in terms of this mock day is we're gonna go to the water, swim in the pool, and I'm gonna swim the full distance that I'm gonna swim for my race at the Clash. And this will be the first time I'm doing it, and I'm also doing it race specific. The Clash is a wetsuit swim because of the temperature of the water, so I'm going to swim in a wetsuit today just to get used to that, and to your mobility kind of changes a little bit, so I want to get used to that aspect of it as well. So we're going to start in the pool. I'm basically doing a time trial in the pool of 2,400 yards. Non-stop, and then we'll go from there. But that's kind of, my morning in a gist. I am somebody that, when it comes to my morning routine, it's something that I like treasure, and I enjoy working hard, but I also enjoy like truly waking up. So typically my morning is I get up, I have my electrolytes, I have my coffee, I kind of let that just like sit. I usually sit down and I like to clear my desk, so to speak, of work. So I sit down, I clear my emails, I have somebody competing this morning, making sure that he's tended to, and then we're gonna have some breakfast and head out and go about, getting the swim done. So in my head, and what Natasha and I planned out is I'm 4 weeks out this weekend. I was going to, our initial goal, and again, this is just because like, when I lock into something, I give it everything I have. So our initial goal was for me to race at 185, but yet I've just very assertively dialed it down, and because we keep checking my performance markers and my performance isn't suffering, we continue to diet. But this whole time, around 3 weeks out, we plan to then kind of pull myself back out of a deficit and then eat into the show. I'm kind of working in tandem with Natasha's leading my programming, she's leading my training, and then Chris is working with me on specifics within what Natasha's laying out. He's also, one of his biggest strengths was on the bike, so we're working together. I actually have a call with him this afternoon to continue to work on my measurements and my positioning on the bike, which is so important because one of the biggest things, you can put a lot of power into a bike, which is something that I think just from my background in weight training I've been able to do. But if your positioning isn't right, you can also be wasting a lot of energy. So if you're driving a lot of power but wasting a lot of energy, that doesn't benefit you. So we're just working on more aerodynamic positioning, measurements, lengthening out my trunk, so to speak, on the bike and things like that. So that's kind of the dynamic of the coaching relationship between myself, Natasha, and Chris. And I think this is where, because of the fact that I'm 35 years old, try not to get emotional. I've always had this competitive mindset, and I've always had this athlete mindset, and I've always enjoyed being coached. And I've always enjoyed the process of doing the work, and it's silly that this is making me emotional, but so initially my goal growing up was to play soccer at the highest level possible, and that was somewhat taken away from me, and not in a bitter way, but I basically I was playing Division II soccer. I had multiple concussions my freshman year. after my last concussion, I was having some like head issues, lots of headaches. So I took a break from soccer within the structure, and I was supposed to go back 6 months later for an MRI just to see where my brain was at. Went back, I still had bruising on my brain from the concussions that I had that led up to that. So that was kind of like the end of my soccer career. And that's when I like dove head into bodybuilding, which obviously I'm so thankful for, because it's brought me so much. It's brought all you guys that are here into this room. You know, it's brought me to Florida, it's brought Raw, it's brought Revive. And then obviously once again, in 2020, I tore my pec. So that was kind of like the end of that. But in hindsight, that was one of the best things that's ever happened to me, because it just like restructured and rewired my brain, because I wasn't healthy, you know, and really this dive into endurance sport, for me, the initial draw, which I started June of last year, was to truly get healthy again, because I knew when it came to my heart health, you know, and one of the metrics with heart health is VO2 max, and I knew mine was terrible. You know, I just absolutely knew that I wasn't in a good position. My sleep wasn't good, you know, and I wanted to get healthy again, but I wanted to also do it in a way where I could like really sink my teeth into something, and I found that. So like this for me is just like a way to, I don't know why I'm crying, but like it's like a way to like continue to drive like this competitiveness. Anyway, it's a way for me to like just try to like goodness gracious.
What are you trying to say?
I know what I want to say. It's not that. It's just like, so it's a way for me to finish. I just want to finish something.
Yeah, I think with this last thing, with like finishing bodybuilding, yes, with yourself bodybuilding, but then like even with all the things that have happened recently too, like you want to finish like something like the way you want it to be finished, and not to be dictated by something else.
Like to this point, I've just not been able to finish. But yet I know like mentally in my head, I still feel so young. And like, you know, I told Jordan the other day, like, for some reason, like God's given me this ability to like just like snap when it comes to doing things that are hard. And I don't know why, like, but I can, a lot of times in my life, I've been able to surpass people or beat people or whatever just off of like mental grit, you know, and I just want to be able to do something that I love at full capacity and just leave just like fully content.
so just finished up the swim, and that was the regulation distance for the race that I'm doing. Honestly, it went really well. It was the first time I've ever done that. Kind of a huge accomplishment in the sense of knowing I can do it, having to kind of work through it mentally as I was going through it. I think as you guys saw this morning, I had a little bit of an emotional dump this morning, so I'm kind of feeling a little bit of fatigue right now, which I think is probably more so that emotional dump than the effort. I mean, that was definitely hard. The effort was there. I felt like a little bit of anxiety, elevated heart rate, just due to having to do something I haven't yet done.
Working on it. Alrighty. If you guys have not eaten this morning, and instead have had a large or small can of Bum Energy, please have some fuel before you leave, or a power ring. Otherwise, you're going to be running your first mile at a 5:50, and you're going to feel terrible for mile 2 and 3. Everybody, for those of you new, welcome. If you're a first timer here at Raw Run Club Port St. Lucie, raise your hand. Awesome.
That's what's up.
Welcome, Alex. What's up? That's what we're here for. I'm Alex. This is Gio. He's a little cooler than I am. Gio just came back from an Ironman 2 weeks ago, and so if he's not running his normal blistering pace today, he's excused. I am not, however, so make fun of me instead. But yeah, we're going to go out here and do a little 5K loop this morning. Run as you're comfortable with. You know, the first mile, warm up, take it nice and easy. If you're already super warm, want to hop out the gate, feel free. It's about as wrong with people. Make it your goal to talk to 4 people you don't know today. Whether you're running and like, hi, my name is Alex, right? Whether you're doing that while you're running, or you stop here, you're in the ice bath afterwards and hanging out, freezing your what's off, talk to people, make a community here. And for those of you who haven't been to this location before, maybe Hunter, we can ask if people can poke their heads inside the club afterwards to see the beautiful behemoth of the best gym on the planet that's built right back around the corner right there. You have anything you want to say?
If you don't want donuts, after the race, there's some special Thanksgiving related, so just wait for that. A lot of food.
Publix is scared of Gio. That happens. And Gio also might dress up at the end of the day today.
I'm out.
So we're going to see how that goes. But is everyone warmed up? We'll be all ready?
Yeah. I saw
Actually, they brought some. We're good.
Oh, are they doing a round two?
Let's do it. Let's do thumbs up.
It doesn't sound. You gotta say it like you mean it. Say it with your chest. Dude, Matt doing another lap.
That's crazy.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm like, babe, we're 6.5 miles in. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm like,
Still left though. Yep.
Nice. That's good. Really good.
So preparing for triathlon started for me last June, so June of 2023. I had a week by myself. Jordan and the boys, they were up visiting their family, or her family, and we had spent Father's Day together up in Georgia, and then I came back home and just had a week to myself, and I knew that I was missing something in terms of I had always had a training goal, and really since my chest injury in 2020, I lost that training goal, and that's just always been a driving force in my life. And honestly, my wife can attest to this, my close friends can attest to this. When I have something that I can focus on that demands a lot from me, and that's hard, my life just flourishes in all aspects. And I think that's also the case for how we like to operate here as a business. So that being said, I initially had some interest in potentially pursuing CrossFit, but I also knew that some of my injuries and previous injuries might limit my ability to do that. Little did we know that I have some limitations now as well. But then I really just started getting into studying, researching, learning everything I could about triathlon. And growing up at an early age, I started around the age of 7 competitively swimming, and I loved it, and I continue to attribute a lot of the mental toughness that I've built through the years to that start of swimming, because I remember to this day, it's the only practice that I've ever gone to where I've cried, and I cried truly out of a place of feeling like I was losing control of my body. In the sense that I felt like I was going to drown. I was completely out of air, and it was really hard. And I remember going over to the side of the pool and my mom coming up to me and checking on me, and she just looked at me and said, "Matt," she said, "this is something that you wanted to do, and you need to figure it out, and you need to finish." And from that day, it's just kind of always stuck with me that whatever I commit to, I need to finish. And that's something that Jordan and I feel very strongly about instilling in our boys, So that to me was the initial starting of, okay, I love swimming. I have a background in swimming, or so I thought I had a background in swimming. So I decided to pursue triathlon. That week, it was kind of a fast track week. I remember buying a lot of things. I bought a bike. I found a bike on Facebook Marketplace. I researched, and this is a really cool story, especially now, coming full spectrum that she's a part of the company. But I asked 3 different individuals, all a part of the triathlon world, all that were not associated with each other, who I should reach out to from a coaching perspective, and they all recommended me to reach out to Natasha. No other name was mentioned. None of these people knew each other, but there was just a unique association and just an aura about everybody recommended me to her. So I remember I reached out to her, I believe on a Thursday evening. Saturday we had our first call together, and it's, the rest is history from there. But really that was the start for me, is just knowing that I was lacking something in my life, lacking a training direction and goal, and I wanted to sink my teeth into something that was hard, that was going to provide that direction for me. And then the other big factor to this was really gaining back and getting and prioritizing health again in my life. I knew that in terms of real health markers, VO2 max, things happening during my sleep, my cholesterol, a lot was off. And I thought that doing something that truly demanded the most of me, that was really hard, but also so cardiovascularly focused, I would get both of those back at the same time, and that really was the goal in all of it. I think, just for me, athleticism is just something that drives emotion for me. And that comes from a place of passion, that comes from me a place of just always loving the pursuit of perfection, you know, and even though you might fall short of that, I think it's a pursuit and the effort that you give to that. It's just something that has always driven emotion for me, you know, and being in Kona this year and just seeing the effort that these guys gave to cross that finish line, even as, now I was more involved in some of our athletes' stories than everybody that participated there, but seeing our athletes cross the finish line, that was emotional. You know, seeing people that I've never even met before cross the finish line and the effort they gave, there was emotion there. You know, so that's one aspect of it. And honestly, guys, just full transparency, the last 6 weeks of my life has been difficult. It's been hard in a lot of ways, and I think because of the fact that I'm very good at compartmentalizing, and I think a lot of people that operate at a very high level can do that. You know, so I really haven't had time to deal with it all yet. And just for some reason, it came out Saturday morning, you know, and I think potentially that was the first weekend, this past weekend that you guys saw us filming. That was the first weekend in 6 weeks that I hadn't traveled, you know, that I was home. And, you know, I went from preparing guys for the Olympia to being home for 4 days, going to Kona, being home for 4 days, going to New York. And then you guys saw, you know, a week, and not only that, but, you know, there's things going on here, great things going on here at the office, but things that are demanding, and obviously family structure. You know, for me, I desire to be a dad that's a part of my boy's life, and that requires a lot of effort, you know, and being a good dad is not something that just comes by happenstance, you know, so making sure that I'm putting forth the effort there, and just everybody that needs me. You know, I want to make sure that I'm there for the people that need me. And at times, I put my own emotions and thoughts and whatever, I just throw them in the back. You know, so some of that just came out on Saturday, and again, I haven't even seen the video yet, and I hope I don't look as ridiculous as I felt at times. But that wasn't all triathlon. That wasn't because I want to win so bad, or, you know, I'm crying, because it was a lot of sadness, frustration, pain. You know, there was a lot of that coming out that just might have manifested itself in how I was sharing about something that I truly am looking forward to doing. You're never too late to jump into something new, and prioritizing your health is one of the greatest things that you can do in your life. And, you know, if you can find a way, it doesn't have to be triathlon, it doesn't have to be marathon running, but if you can find a way to combine those two things together to just bring fulfillment to your life and to bring a level of effort that you might not be giving, that you might be lacking, that can actually accentuate all aspects of your life, I would highly encourage you to do so, because I know I can speak for Dom, I can speak for myself. It's just drastically changed our life for the better, and it's just something that I'm so thankful that I committed to.